Some consumers who found themselves under debt restructuring say they were misled into believing that they were undertaking debt consolidation. Debt restructuring is usually offered to financially distressed customers who are more than 3 months in arrears with their debt repayments, and customers under debt restructuring are not allowed to take on more credit. This process could also affect your credit score negatively. Debt counsellors usually get a fee for negotiating a restructured payment plan for customers.
The advertising of debt consolidation is not properly explained to consumers. When a consumer sees there's a debt consolidation, they believe that it is not an issue that would affect their credit worthiness with the credit providers, and therefore they see this as a loan that would not have an effect on their credit worthiness going forward. So consumers need to be very careful when debt consolidation is advertised, and when they apply for it, they need to make sure that this is what they want, and that's in fact what they're getting.
Many consumers lost their jobs while others had to opt for salary reductions due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. This has led to an increase in the demand for debt restructuring as consumers battle to make ends meet. The NCR says debt restructuring can help reduce your interest rate to even 0% if negotiated properly.
There are a debt counselling rule system, which is an agreed system between credit providers and debt counsellors, whereby this rule system reduces the interest and extend the payments to the point where the consumer can then afford to repay the debt within a reasonable time. So for unsecured very specifically, and for short-term agreements, which are agreements that the repayments are in 6 months or less, this rule system can adjust in many, many instances the unsecured credit rate, interest rate to zero.
Debt restructuring typically happens or it follows the macroeconomic environment. So when we see the stress in the market, 2020 COVID-19 lockdown levels 5 and 4, specifically in April, May, and June, July, in that period, there was a big demand for restructuring of loans. And to give an example, as ABSA, we restructured 1.35 million retail and business banking loans over that period.
Another option is debt consolidation, which is usually offered to consumers who are also under financial distress. It entails combining consumers' unsecured debt, such as credit cards and personal loans, from various institutions into a single account. Debt consolidation could lead to your monthly installments being reduced.
Debt consolidation is a bit more tricky. There we look at the risk appetite of the credit providers to provide a loan to an already distressed consumer. So it is a bit more risky, than a normal or giving credit to a consumer that is not stressed. So it could be a problem, at the start. Does the credit provider have a risk appetite to give you a consolidation loan? That's the first problem. And secondly, the trick of a consolidation is if you take the average of the interest that you pay on your credit agreements right now, would a debt consolidation come in at a lower interest rate? Because that's where the devil is in the detail.
There are initiation and monthly administration fees to be paid when you are under debt consolidation. But this process could be beneficial to customers if they are offered a favorable interest rate.
What I can say and advise, though, is there is very little appetite in the market if one of your products is more than two months in arrears. But if you are what we call early arrears, the credit providers will always consider consolidating your debt if your disposable income, your net monthly surplus, can afford your debt consolidation loan installment.
If you are facing financial distress but do not take any steps to deal with your predicament, you might end up in even a worse off situation. And if you struggle to meet your monthly debt obligations, your debt levels will skyrocket. This could affect your credit profile and your ability to secure credit in the near future. Naledi Matlapeng, SABC News, Johannesburg.